Hi, it's David here with Futures Trading. I want to give you the how to put it together like a professional in real time. So I did one on yesterday. It was a bit longer than what I wanted it to be. So today we're going to try to plan it out just a little bit differently. And I had told you that I was going to show you that hourly as well as that daily. And I just forgot to get around to it. Now I did try to make you guys aware of it here on TikTok via this video here that you would need to come over here to just take a look because that video was just a little bit too long and there's no way that TikTok was going to go for that. So I'm gonna try to make this under 30 minutes. Again, trying to capture that 9:30. So it's 9:26 now. So I'm gonna try to cover the ES and the hourly and the daily all within the next 4 minutes. All right. So there's the center of the chart. We were over here the last time I did this video, and I'll just kind of give you a look as to what that was. They ran up to the center of the chart. Remember, this is a very simple approach. You do not need a lot of different information going on with it, even though other people are trying to, present my content. This is the center of the chart. This is the lower portion of the chart. All right. So just want you to see how all of it works. If you believe beneath that lower half of the chart, it can continue down, even more so. Now, back up to the center. And then, of course, we fell here. Now, I've been telling you that we were going to hit this zone. I've been telling you that ever since we was like over here, when they were pushing up and it was an uptrend, and we're making our way there. It's just taking a little time. And I told you last week that it should happen this week. So the ES is a bit slow, and so we're on our way there. We're just not there yet. Now, should they be able to get back beneath this range, you can go ahead and expect that target. I'll tell you that right now. So and now let's look at this daily. I told you guys that they will blow this area. I told you that, and they managed to go ahead and do that. Now you got your little pop up here, but respectfully, they went through the zone, so they can continue down. I see they're hitting this zone right now. They're trying to honor this zone, which is fine. It's not to say again that it will just automatically stay up. That's not exactly what I'm expecting at this point. Again, because they have a trend on the board now. If they are to continue up, that would just be absolutely awesome. Don't want to see them come back through this zone at all, and let's go for it. Now, respectfully, you can flip this zone over. All right, now if you're looking for the short side of it all, I do believe that we may be in trouble for it to fall again. But let's see. Let's just see. So 250 up to 350. So that would be right here. So if you flip the zone upside down for the sell side, they're still inside the sell zone for the drop. So from 250 up to 350, they're still sitting inside of there. So the targeted distance, now here's the thing, is here. All right. So I suspect if we can get back through here, we're going to go here, and that's just what I think. Now, if we're not going to do that, clearly they need to hold this area right in here. They do not need to keep coming back down, and we need to go ahead and try to wipe this leg out. But I suspect that it could be something even like this, so they can get right above here and still manage to turn back around if they do not decide to go up. They're going to pretty much just lift just a bit, just enough to get you involved, and then come down, and then of course make that trend distance. So just be careful with that information there. Now let's take a look at the hourly. Pretty much the same deal. We're right inside that zone, and again, I told you it's up to 350. Now, if you take a look from that 250 up to 350, they're inside the static, and they're still beneath the center of the chart. So again, just reiterating the point, if we do not go ahead and hold this area here, that will be a problem. So coming back under this range, yeah, that can definitely create an issue, and we'll be down here at 950 easily. So let's go ahead and just throw a 950 out here. Let's go 950. Got the wrong one here. We're going to go 950 to 850, and we'll kind of just throw this in here as fast as I can because we want to see that information play out on the 1 minute. All right, so now let's just go ahead and change this a bit. All right, so we're going to go red, and we're going to go 950 down to 850. You're going to see them go right into this area here. Maybe not today, but this is where they're going. Should they not want, I meant to turn that green. This is where they're going. Should they not want to stay where they're at right now? So this will be your next expected area where they're going to come to. All right. Now remember, they're trying to make that trend distance on that daily if they're going to continue down. So you may get rotations, just like they're slowing down when they hit these statics. You may get a rotation. You just might, but keep in mind until they make that distance, it's likely that they'll get to that distance. It's very much likely. So let's do it like this. So that way you can kind of see the rotation on the way down. All right, so 850 to 750. Okay, 850 to 750 is where they may rotate again. Okay, so as they get here, that's what you're going to be looking at. And I'll put that on the daily chart. I'm just not going to do it now, but that's what you have. Again, got just a little bit of a window here up to that overnight range. But again, that overnight range is sitting right where it's supposed to be at that center, as well as this range is located, the bottom of it is located right about the halfway point of the chart. So all of my research over the years has proven to be, again, the same information being repeated over and over and over again, kind of bringing the clock into play as well as the other information. So here's 9:30. Just went one minute outside of it. All right, so here's 9:30, and again, all of this information I put online back in was late May when I first got up here. So here's the center of the chart. Don't let no one fool you. I'm the pioneer method of this approach. It's a universal approach to support and resistance. All right, so here's the center of the chart. You would divide the upper half of the chart as so. All right, so you get the center of the chart and just kind of go like this. And then right about that midpoint, which is roughly where that static is at. All right, so you right there with it. If we can get back above here, let's just go ahead and get long. If not, you would go to, let's go 25 up to 35. So 35 would be roughly right here. I see, they're barely outside of it there. But if they come back up, you want to see if they can stay beneath that 35. I'm not going to flip the zones. That'll just take too much time. And I kind of want to stay current with the trend. Right now, the trend is up. So we're going to try to bring it all together. But if they're going to flip back down, we don't want to see them past that 35 to hold the sell side to push it down towards the center of the chart. Now, let's go ahead and do our trend. So we had one off the bottom here. That's 2, that's 3, 4, 5. And yes, so I think that one did it. No, I didn't look. Okay, so this is 6 and there's 7. So now let's measure our distance. I don't believe they've offered that as of yet. So let's measure this. The distance would be roughly there. Okay, so let's project this forward just in case they go ahead and rip right now. All right, so let's do this. So that would put them up here at 364. Now remember, this is your paycheck. All right, this is how it works. When they give you the trend distance, it's best to go and get your paycheck because that's what they're offering you. Your pay for showing up to work. All right, so you don't want to leave that on the table. Don't leave your paycheck on the table. You wouldn't do it at your regular job. Don't do it here. All right, so really important stuff. You want to make sure that you get your paycheck. Do not leave work without getting paid. All right, so and once you get paid, leave. Do not stay at work longer. Don't give them back your money because if you stay longer, there's a chance you may have to start paying here. There's a chance that may happen. So I know on your regular job they'll give you overtime and secure the fact that you stayed longer, but here it works just a little bit different. So once you get your paycheck, you might want to go ahead and take off and just wait till the next day. All right, so they're back above the upper half of the chart. There's the static level, trying to put it all together, everything that I told you. Let's see here. This is a no close bar, even though it's a red one. The high of this bar, I'm gonna put it all together. All right. So the high of this bar, this green guy right here is not touching that mid. All right. And the mid is, of course, above the bar's high, and the high is below the mid. So that makes this bar a no close bar. And that's why you see the NC under the bar. As you can see, they tagged it a couple times and then they popped up. All right. So this price level is important, very much important. All right, so you want to see if they can stay above that, as well as this NC here. You can kind of see where they tested it a couple times, and they're managing to stay above. Now, wherever you see the NC, the bar behind it is the hard stop. So you'll want to kind of put it all together. If you see this zone, find that price pattern. All right, now if you're at the center of the chart, find the price pattern. You got to find, of course, the information that's going to collectively put everything that I've told you, put it all together. All right. So they dove back in the zone. Again, this is the upper half of the chart. Here it is. Universal is very universal. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you're trading Asian markets, European markets, US markets. It's a universal approach to support and resistance. Really simple stuff is what I present to you. All right. Trend distance, that's how much money you're going to make because they're essentially assuring you that they plan to go that far. Now, I'm going to make sure that this bar here was higher than that other one. Let me get that closed. 199 and a quarter. I want to just make sure of this. I don't want to eyeball it. Okay, yeah, that was exact. So I did it right. All right, so that'll work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 and that's 7. All right, so yes. So there's your trend distance here. They should offer you that paycheck. Again, that's what you need to go for. You need to go for the paycheck because that's what you showed up to do. Oftentimes they can come back to halfway of the trend. So here's the well, this is another move up. We don't want them to come way back down here. That wouldn't be fair because then it'll put a trend back in this direction. You just don't really want them too much further under the midpoint of this chart. So I think from here it'll make sense. Now you can go from where they pause that, or you can do it this way. There's kind of two ways I can go about it here, and I did it in the other video. So let me do it here. Let me do it right now. I did it in the other video. You can go at it from this angle too. All right, so you can find the trend bar, which should be roughly the same if you ask me. You can find the trend bar itself and project that distance up. Yeah, it's just a tad bit different, just a tad bit different. It's a good they dropped back. That's a good they did that. So roughly right about the same. Usually you can go halfway into the trend or go from the trend bar itself. All right. So usually they'll pull back half of the trend and then go. So let's see if they can get it done. You got a no close here. They're trying to struggle with it a bit, and that's the hard stop. That's why that level on that bar is that color. You got a no close here. So they're struggling with that. So let's see what they'll do. Let's see if they'll come back down. Again, still, this is, and again, no matter whether or not the chart scale adjusts, this is something I said in yesterday's video. It's deceptive sometimes when it does that, that the frame of the chart begins to, adjust itself. What you have to make sure that you keep in mind and keep focus of so your emotions don't get, misplaced, is that the center of the chart, keep your eyes focused on that, even though the scale may, of course, differ. It's just like at a carnival or some kind of magic show, a sleight of hand. They're going to do their best to make sure that you're not able to, keep track of what the movement is because it affects your timing. Now, am I telling you they made this frame to deceive you? That's not exactly what I'm saying, but I have everything has this intended purpose, and so I'm just going to make mention of it in that manner. So just try to keep focus on the center of the upper part of the scale. Just try to keep focus of that, and don't let the scale movement throw you off. Don't let that throw you off because it's all about can you time it? Can you get into it? And know with I guess a good degree of accuracy that it should push in that direction. All right. So right now the upper scale isn't really moving. It's not getting away from us. It's not doing anything. So you're not so much affected as of yet. Okay. You see the adjustment. You see how the scale adjusts. All right. Just keep your mind as it adjusts. Just keep your mind focused on that upper part of the scale. So that way you're not being left behind with its movement. You're not being taken advantage of there. All right. So let's see if they can make that distance. I don't want to be before you long. I know I did yesterday's video a little bit long because they didn't cover enough ground within the time frame that I had wanted them to. I wanted to be able to, I guess, show you the whole scale from the bottom all the way up. Again, trying to show you all the cyclical activity that goes on with the price scale. So I held it just a bit longer, but here they're pretty much right above the top of the scale. I don't know if they'll make it down here within the allotted time that I plan to be here. So, but that's them pushing up. Now let's see if they can keep this going. I'm not going to give you any statics above, even though they're headed to that 55 to 65. The 65 would be roughly right at the top of that trend distance. All right, so that 65 would be right there. So 55, okay, if you want to do statics from above and you're trying to fade, I don't promote counter trend trading, but here it is, 55 up to 65. All right, so that's them getting to 65. If they were to turn around, you don't want them to break outside of 65. Now, if they go outside of 65, the very next thing you're going to want to see them do is get to 85. So that's the next expected distance that you'll want to see them get to. Now, let's see what we got here. I'm going to adjust this because the scale is moving. But remember, the center of the chart and the upper part of the chart, it doesn't move. I just don't have the indicator here to be able to do that, So this will be roughly, if they decide to pull down, you'll want to keep your focus as to this about I guess is about how far they should push down before you want to see them kind of go ahead and take back off. Let's just move this up just a hair. So roughly right about there. So you'll want to see them maybe come right back into this and then take off again if they want to come down. Now, you don't want them to take out this big bar, but that no close level definitely makes sense if they want to do some of this back and forth again. So no close right here, hard stop there, upper part of the chart, all of that makes sense. So if they come down, you just don't want to see them close beneath here, which aligns itself with that other approach, which is the universal chart scale. This is important. If they can keep this at play, you can still go ahead and expect that distance. Now you see how they're coming directly into that upper part of the scale, directly into it. Now let's see what that response is going to be for the next move up. Let's see if that's going to be there. If not, they're going to come down back into that static, maybe even to the center of the chart. Almost made the trend distance, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But let's see if that no close level and that hard stop come into play and see can they get back above that upper part of the scale. All right. So that's the upper part. We want to see if they can pull that off and stay above there. Want to see if they can do it. Really simple stuff. All right. This is putting it together like a professional. All right. So if you want to do this professionally, this is the way of going about it. All right. So that's something that you really have to focus on. I don't want to I don't want to put in front of you too many things when it's really just it's just one thing. That's all. It's just one thing that's happening over and over again. That's all. And so if you can see the chart that way, you should be able to get your consistency to kind of show itself. You should be able to get your consistency to show itself. Yep. So let's see what they got here. Let's see if they can keep doing this. All right, let's see. All right, so they're back into here. So they may be coming down to the center of, I mean, back to the center of the chart because they're back inside of here. They're doing that no close again. They just did this over here. They just did this. Now, again, if you're not familiar with the price pattern, let me touch on that. Let me go ahead and do that. Suspecting that just viewing this information for the first time, you haven't been on the channel at all. So here this is how the bars are formed. All right. And this is the universal price action method. All right. So the mid of the bar, if it's below the low or the low is above the mid, however you understand it, that's a down. All right. So then we don't want to see them close back above this bar's, high. And that would be the hard stop. All right. Now, it's the opposite if you're trying to go up. Given that you never watched any of my content, it's just this. It's really simple. So there's the mid. Okay. So you don't want the price to be touching this mid. So the mid is above that high or the high is below that mid. You don't want them to close back beneath this bar's low. And there's the hard stop and there's the up. So it's just that simple. That's why you're getting the level and the color and the NC here. All right. So the NC is the no close, the color and the level. That's the hard stop. All right. So that's all it is. So now they're coming back to the static. Let's see what this is. They're using that upper part of the scale for resistance to come down. All right. So now let's see, can they get to they may give me all of what I want here. So they may give me all of what I want. I want to be able to, have the videos in real time where you can see the scale in its totality, how, I go about trading and been doing it for many years. All right. So, and it's simple. It's very simple. I don't need a higher time frame support and resistance. I don't need that stuff. It's not to say that you can't use it. I just don't need it. I use universal concepts that makes for my trading to be, profitable and simple. It's not complicated. I'm showing it to you right here. So it's not hard to understand. So 25, then we would flip that static if we were playing the resistance, just as I expressed to you before, up to 35. So 35 would be right here. So if they try to come back up, you'll want to see if they'll roll off 35 and then continue back down, which would be beneath this upper part of the scale. All right. So you got to just put it all together. That's all. Put it all together. So they're at the center. Okay, so they're at the center of the chart. You got the 195 inside the range. Now, this is this morning's range. All right. The overnight range, I'll try to show you that really quickly here. I believe that's way above us. All right, so that's a little bit up here. So the overnight range is up here. And again, you can grab the ranges. Again, I released all that information for you. So you'll be able to have at least 3 ways to go about it. And I did that all in 18 minutes. I tried to give you all this information in 18 minutes. All right, so that's really simple. It's not complicated. Don't want you to be confused about trading. I approach markets from a very professional standpoint, something that's universal. Remember, when I did the video here, is all about procedural knowledge. Remember, I told you that. All right, so that's this information here. Why blowing out an account makes sense. Okay, and that's this. Why blowing out the account makes sense. The key word in that video that I told you was procedural knowledge. There's one established way, it's an established way of doing something. It's an official way of doing something. So it's really important to have with you, some information that's always going to present itself over and over and over and over again, and it won't change. Important. When a doctor, perform surgeries on you, they call it a procedure. You know why? Because there's procedural knowledge. There's information that they're going to implement over and over and over again based on that one particular thing that you're dealing with, or several people can deal with. They are going to approach it from the same dynamic using the same tools. So it's important that we do trading that way, and that's why your ambition to do this is not to be confused with what it is that it takes to be a professional trader. The indicator list only highlights your ambition, but your ambition is not the place to try to be different here. You want to do exactly what they're, suggesting, that you should do, and nothing else outside of that. So indicators are only for ambition, if you ask me, and there's no need to let your ambition blow your account. So you got to kind of focus in. It's just like living life. Time is, to restrict your ambition, so you can't live beyond the date that you don't supposed to be here. So there's a law there to prohibit your ambition. And so the chart presents the same kind of thing. It limits your ambition as well. All the different indicators or information that you would gather still won't it still won't get you there unless you apply yourself within in the time frame, which is the timing that they want you to operate in. So if you want to counter trend trade and they don't want to go that way based on that timing, you're going to lose your account. So it's really simple, kind of help you see it. So although we try to be distinct, and I said that we try to be distinct in everything that we do, this is not the place for it. And so you want to just kind of keep that in mind. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 here. And so now we're just looking for, let's see, 2 more. So if we get 2 more, we're going to start looking at the possibility of a trend down. All right. So we're going to look at the possibility of a trend down. And clearly they're going to be telling you how much you're going to make on the way down. So let's just give an eye to what that can be. And then I'll be off here and you can go about enjoying the rest of your day. All right. So going to upload this information as fast as possible so you can kind of see what that will end up being like. So the lower half of the chart, because they're coming beneath that center. Now let's see if they want to play it to the downside. Now, if they're going to play it to the downside, the lower part of the chart will be roughly right about here, back through this area here. So now what we would do is we would definitely we will go about this like this. All right, so let's go do this. I don't think that they'll make it back up here, so we'll do this. All right, so we're going to flip these zones and kind of change what they look like, so you'll know that they may want to stay down. They came close to that trend distance, but they just couldn't nail it. All right, so they just couldn't nail it. Came close though, came close. But if they plan to stay down, this is what it's going to look like. All right, so this is how you're traded moving forward for the rest of the day. You're traded based on them wanting to stay down. All right, so let me turn this color here, just in case they want to do it, just in case. And so if they want to stay down, this is what you're looking at. All right. Now, if they bounce from here and come back up through the top of the center, disregard what I just did. Just disregard it. See if they can get back above the zones. You would put that zone, back below here, and it will go 15 down to 05. All right. So back up to the center. Okay. Now I'm projecting here that, let me do that. That's what your trend would look like down. I'm gonna give you a projection as to how far you would go. Now let's look at what that would look like should that show up. All right, so should that show up, it would be something to this nature here. All right, so let's go. Should that show up, let's go something like this, half of the trend. if they plan to do this, just if they plan to do it. All right. So, and again, this will be probably the last video that I'll upload to this section. All right. So I don't want to do too many of them. I said on yesterday that my goal is just to put just enough information on the channel so you can reference it as a library. I don't want to be up here for years just reiterating the same information, because it's really just one official way to do it. It's not something that I have to come up here and keep showing you over and over and over again and building a channel around the same content and just boring you. I'm not going to do that. So I do want to put enough videos here for you to reference as a library moving forward, so that way you can come back to this information should you need to. If you get in a place where you're stalling in your trading, you can come back and just give a refresher of the information itself, and it should stabilize you because it's timeless content. That's the whole point of me putting the must watch list there. Okay, so I put that there. This is timeless content, so I don't have to keep coming back over and over again. I try to give you universal approaches to markets within 40 minutes. This information right here. All right, so that's this is universal. I didn't state it as that, but it is, because it doesn't matter where you're at in this, as far as whether you're in a different geographical location of the world, or whether or not you're older or younger. It doesn't matter. Uh, Being a professional being is just someone that can do it with I guess, a particular set of skills. So it takes skill to do this. And so when it comes to where the market can turn at, there's a universal approach to that as well, as much as how far they'll go. That's repeated over and over and over again, as well as how it gets there. And that's why this will show up in any kind of trade you take. This information will show up there, and as well as this. No matter what kind of trade you're taking, if it's a counter trend trade and it turned into a runner, guess what? It made a trend and it's trending. And so if it turned from somewhere, I can bet you this. You can go back and look at all your charts. I guarantee you it was one of these things that caused that to come about. So really important stuff that you take notice of. And so that's why it's not really necessary for me to just build this channel for the next 10 years, highlighting those three things. All right. So now, of course, there's there's some other stuff that I noticed far more advanced than this, and it's just as effective, if not more so effective, because it puts you ahead of the sticks. I mean, to the point where you'll have a good idea before you even get started where the floor or the ceiling can possibly be for that day. This is just something I wanted to give to the public here. So they're hitting that range. Okay, they're hitting that range. Fell just beneath that center. Still was above the upper. I'm sorry, the lower half of the chart, but still above the lower half of the chart, still above it. Because remember, this is the lower portion of it downward. Okay, so even though you're just beneath that center, you're still above the upper half of the lower part of the chart. So let's see if they're going to try to rotate back over. If not, they still got an uptrend in place. And so you would just do it like this, and then I am absolutely gone. All right, so because I want to upload this video and try to get you into some of this activity. All right. So if they try to push up, that's right about there. All right. So I wish you all the best with your trading. I'm going to upload this content, and I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.